Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever the Kelly Fans podcast. It's season 4, it's episode number 22. We're in celebratory mood here at Limelight Studios in Irvine. We've had a really positive experience over the last hour, we'll tell you about that in a second, but more importantly, the prodigal son has returned. He's home. Kelly Cow's back.
Bad news for the views now. They'll start to hang the views have went up.
The views have
weeks,
actually skyrocketed for Baz and Gripe and Lindsay the week before. Way up.
It's the novelty factor in it.
That's what it is, mate. Nothing to do with them being good.
No, it was. It's obviously class to be back. Get a wee bit of space to elevate my my leg here to stretch it out and all the rest of it.
That's right.
But I want to say that I thought the last two podcasts were top class.
I agree.
Lindsay was excellent. Great to get a different perspective altogether and something that we probably don't do enough of, so I'm delighted to see that. And I genuinely thought the podcast with Baz and Graham was one of my favourite episodes, and I don't even understand why, but I just absolutely loved it. And because Stu had the Patreon up nice and early, I know I went and bashed that all last Monday night and just watched them back to back, and it was class. So
you're a fan as well as the co-host now?
I'm all because obviously it's been good to get the pleasure of watching it back, because all joking aside, like, I actually don't do that. Like, sometimes in the early days you would listen back and think, oh, what, does that sound like an idiot there? But
you just know now that you're an idiot, so you
exactly.
don't
I'm at peace with that. I'm at peace with that. It's all about acceptance. But I've actually really enjoyed watching it as a fan. But it's not been the same as not being here. So I've submitted my wee question the last few weeks.
Very cute, mate.
Not happening anywhere.
No, but it's lovely to have you back, mate.
Thank you.
I don't feel it doesn't feel right without you, man. Look at these that Stu's made us.
Unbelievable.
Forever and Ever Kelly mugs. Thank you, Stu.
The cameras there. I get a split shot there.
Cheers. So Stu's been extra accommodating tonight because we just had Tom Black in there, who spoke for about 70-80 minutes about his time at Kelly. It's going to be up on the Patreon. We'll maybe put a couple of wee clips out just so folk can see, but the full interview will be on the Patreon. But for it's been a rough few weeks and months, a Kelly fan listening to that man talking about what it meant to him to play for Kelly, the big occasions against Rangers and Celtic, then that day up at Hibs and all that. It really kind of restores your faith in things, mate. It was amazing, wasn't it? I'm just fuming with the order in which we've done this, but we've had to do it obviously to let Tam back down the road, given that he's came down here on a Monday night for Lark Call to use his time. But that made me feel good again, and now we've got to slump back down to this, whereas if we went and get all the misery out of the way first, and then that would have been a nice wee pick up to get you going, whereas this is most certainly got to be a come down. Aye, well, there's obviously a lot of negative talk going on the now, but we'll need to talk about the Rangers game on Saturday. We've got Aberdeen coming up on Sunday. Loads and loads of questions on the Twitter and a couple of email stuff to go through. We'll come back to All Roads Lead to Kelly next week. We're still sponsoring it, but we'll still put the money in, but we've just the way things have been and Cal being off and all that, but we'll get back into the swing of things a bit better next week, man. So obviously loads and loads going on just now. None of it feeling very, very good in terms of the outlook across the whole club, mate. Certainly not any better for when you were last on the podcast. We had a really decent result Wednesday night, probably the first good result we've had for a good few months, getting a really valuable point up at Hearts. Well, again, as you always say, we'll no dig into that, it's been and gone already, but certainly second half fine performance. Brilliant ending, which some great scenes. Some of the photos are tremendous, man. That's what it's all about, isn't it? So it's Greg, great photo of him, Blair and all, brilliant photo of Ding and all, going like, this is what it's all about. And I met Higgy and so he came straight for Mount Everest, straight to the game. That's Higgy, yeah. That Higgy doing Higgy thing. Exactly. So he was even saying it was a good wee bounce and all that. So, but obviously it feels like old news already. Really disappointing again. On Saturday night, 3-0 defeat to Rangers, so we'll start there in earnest, mate. It's tough, innit? It's really tough just now following these beautiful old squirrels of yours. Poor again on Saturday night. Before we get into the depths of the game, I just want to give a shout out, because I think Adam Lyon sent us a message last week, but I don't think we've seen it to read out about these few sweet, obviously the trustee and what they're now doing before all the home games. But I was grateful enough to be there on Saturday. It's good to see Hopesy and all at the front, so he was in charge of the door, which was a difficult task because the Park Hotel weren't letting punters in. Oh, aye, that's because right, there was Christmas parties on and we'd been Rangers and all the rest of it, so he had a difficult job to basically shepherd folk away, so he done a good one there. But they had Kevin McGowan in, and it was absolutely brilliant, like so good. Similar to what we're just saying there about the way that Tam Black was talking about Kelly brilliance. He's seen what it means to these guys who didn't grow up Kilmarnock supporters but bought right into the club. Obviously
Kevin McGowan being local, and that was one of the things that he said that stuck out immediately. Was he was like, my biggest regret is no following this club for the day I was born. Essentially, he's Kelly through and through now, and as his boy is living in Perth. But that was excellent, and just to give a shout out to the Kelly Trust, that's what a brilliant space to go before the game, meet like-minded folk, get a chat, something to eat and a pint, and listen to a Kelly legend talk for 20 minutes before you go to the game. And it really does, it gives you that wee spring your step going to the ground, thinking here we go, despite the fact that all the misery that was surrounding us, and get into sit with another 2,500 Kelly fans across the road. But I just want to give the Trust tons of credit, Jim, Adam. I've met Adam's mum as well, which was a real pleasure, who's a massive fan of the podcast, and I just want to say to the guys to keep up the good work before we inevitably come on to the negativity that surrounded Saturday.
Well, there is so much good stuff going on. Like, you've got the initiatives that the Trust are driving, the Kelly community stuff that's happening before the game, the pre-match meet-up stuff that Alan Agnew's talked about, and again I can Stephen Hopes is involved and all that, and like these are brilliant things that are still happening. The amount of money and the selection boxes and gifts that get raised with the food banks, outstanding. So these things are still happening, and I think that's going to be the theme of the podcast tonight. We're going to need to have a moan. The people are unhappy just now, understandably so, no more than us two. But all that's fluff, mate. See all this managers and players, and that'll all come and go. These things are what make Kelly, and nobody can take that away. You know what I mean? And you've got to try and focus on these things, because they are special. And talking to Tom there and all, who's a big hero of mine growing up. Like the connections that you have with the memories and their feelings and all that, and it's brutal now. It's really, really, really grim just now. But this too shall pass. You know what I mean? It will. Things will get better, man. It might not be for a wee while yet, so we've just got to kind of try and keep coming back to that. I think everybody, because I'm loath to add more misery to the already rather miserable pie that is cooking in the oven. But the game itself. Rangers are a poor iteration of Rangers. Stu's a big Rangers fan. He agrees, so I'm not breaking any ground there. But they dealt with us pretty quickly and easily in the past 2 times they've played. They seem to struggle with everybody else, but no particularly with this Kelly team, which maybe says it all just now. Just
because we've got such a tough run of fixtures and that, you know what I mean? But how can you expect to pick up points against a really shite Celtic, a really shite Rangers, and a shite Aberdeen team at that period as well? But so bitterly disappointing. Actually, it was weird because going into the Hearts game, I just had a feeling we were getting something that night, based on nothing that I'd seen over the past 7 games before that, 6 games, whatever. But I was just like, this will be the night that we maybe will get something, and we did. And I thought, again, I just always look at that, and I know it's Rangers, but I was like, they're there to be got at. They're not great. I mean, they actually played, I think, better against Dundee United on the Wednesday night, but still dropped points. Certainly caused Dundee United more problems with shots and goal and all the rest of it, but we were just, I mean, of course there was periods at the games where we looked competitive at times, but it was one of them I think we could have played all night and no scored. We get nowhere near enough quality in areas that need it most, and we're leaking goals like mad.
Worst in the league now, defensively.
Appalling. And I know the goalie's getting a bit of flack for the first 2 goals, and rightly so as well, but having seen the first goal back as well, don't get me wrong, you should save it. We've got 10 players in the box. 10 players in the box,
stunning watching them. I know.
And how a shot even gets through there is, honestly, that's one of the worst defended goals I've ever seen Kelly do, because with that amount of bodies in the box and just completely standing off and letting Miofsky essentially toe poke it towards goal and ends up in the back of the net, and you're thinking, right, here we go. And at that moment you just know that you're never getting anything out of the game. Having said that, I thought that we done alright coming back into it. We'll come on to some of the decisions. I do think that Watson should get the penalty. I do believe penalty, that, but we'll come on to that. But that doesn't excuse the absolute pathetic defending that happens 2 minutes after that, and the game's dead and buried. And I know we then go on to have a spell, but as the likes of, I thought Gary Holt spoke incredibly well on the radio after the game. It was just great to hear one of our own and talking openly about being one of our own. You know, he was saying we and us. Don't get me wrong, when they choose another foot, you don't like that as an opposition fan, do you? But when it's your own, and he's like, well, it's all well and good playing when you're 2-0 down or you're 3-0 down to Falkirk at half time. It's really irrelevant, you know what I mean? I thought that Rangers were there to be got at, and they dealt with us comfortably in the end. And I think that their goal getting chalked off at the end is extremely harsh as well, because I wouldn't want one of your goals chalked off for that.
And there a wee bit of contention about decisions. You're right. Certainly the one with Watson, I thought that was a penalty too. I know folk have talked about the red card with Butland coming off his line, and then obviously the one Anderson goes through, gets flagged for offside. But as you correctly stated, if Anderson puts the ball in the net like he should, VAR gives the goal, because it's like a clear mistake that the lines was made. But again, I'll be up front, mate. I'm bored talking about these games now, like really, really bored, because I feel like we've said the same things for 8-9 weeks in a row. We know what we're getting now. Defensively, so misshapen and totally chaotic. Like I don't understand. Like as I said to you in the way down here, trying to organise my thoughts here, Cal.
Right. Take your time, man. You're absolutely fine.
To quote Bill the Butcher for the Gangs of New York, right?
What a reference that is to bring up in a game talking.
You're neither hot nor cold. You're lukewarm, so I will spew you out of my mouth. That's what I think Kelly are just now. I have no idea what it is we're meant to be, because we're neither horrible and stuffy and defensive and playing on the counter attack and just hanging about in games, which isn't great to watch. Maybe a bit McKinney actually, right? And hoping we get something out of a game, right? We'll know that. We don't play free flowing interest in football. We don't have that. We don't play with width and put balls into the box. We don't do that. We don't play with pace. We don't have anybody particularly quick that you're kind of relying on. We don't seem to play through the thirds or whatever you'd want to call it. Like there's a structure here you can kind of see. And we're nothing. That's the problem. And I think that is the issue that we've got now. The apathy that has created in the stands and on social media and in the general chat room about Kelly is, and it's born for what we're getting on the park, because we have zero identity. And the fact that we're on this run and we are still 4 points clear of the bottom is a miracle, a minor miracle. So I just thought, and I just thought Saturday night was exactly that. I'm like, what are we even trying to do here? Never mind being able to do it.
Well, I said to you when you rightly quoted Bill the Butcher on the way up, we're barely existing. That's the way things are. As you said, there's absolutely nothing to us, no culture, no identity. And that's now been personified by the crowds. We've been on here a million times putting out the rallying call for games against Old Firm, because we know there's that element of our support that doesn't turn up for games against Rangers and Celtic because they don't like the atmosphere and all the rest of it. I'm in a position where I sometimes call that out, especially when the club needs it, and folk will say they know the club needs your support more than ever. But when we're on a decent run, I think the players deserve a better support against Rangers and Celtic than sometimes that they're treated to. And I think over time that's got better. It certainly has. There's a lot of season ticket holders who don't go to those games, but when I walked into that run on Saturday night, that's the worst. That's getting back to pre-Clark era. What I seen, and I've no sat in the West pre-Clark as well, so it's the worst I've seen with regards to that. In my row, which is usually busy, my own family had their own commitments, but all this is culminating in so many factors. You guys spoke about the kick-off time and that, absolutely, but the fact of the matter is, it's because there's nothing to get behind in it. That's why folk aren't going to the games.
No, if we're Motherwell,
then folk are saying no.
Folk go to the game.
Exactly. So I'm getting in there, and Ebo came with me, and Ebo's obviously a Celtic fan, and came with me because I had Julie's spare ticket. Came in, and literally 3 folk in our entire row. An entire game, and then running about us all the regulars weren't there. But I get a lot of that was the kick-off time and that as well. But as you've just said, if you're on a decent run, then folk, that becomes a priority. We are no longer the priority to folk when you're asking folk to play a game at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. And I don't blame MD for that. I thought the crowd was pitiful, and we're obviously getting pelters off at the likes of the Sun and that. They put out that video, didn't they, saying about they done a pan round the grun, all the empty seats. But I think that is just personifying everything that's gone wrong. But I cannot blame MD for not really getting behind this at the moment, because I don't think there's anything to get behind. And I was going, because almost the novelty factor for me, because I've missed the last few games. So I thought that I'll head tonight. I'm feeling a bit better when I get back to Rugby Park. But there's just the apathy is that was the buzzword the last few weeks, but it's not going away anytime soon.
Where's it came from?
Is I think that this is what happens when we went down this the route here, and it's no fair to pin it all on Kettlewell, because I know that the players aren't performing, there's individual errors and all the rest of it, and it's no fair for him to take the absolute beating the club went through with the whole McInnes to Hearts saga. But I just think that this is what I knew would happen. It's when we went and appointed him, because it's just somebody that there was nothing really to get behind. I don't even buy the argument that it was a safe appointment, because I think that his record at Ross County and Motherwell doesn't suggest anything safe to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to go on these winless runs or something that was very apparent during his time at both those clubs. Motherwell, very similar sized club to Kilmarnock. You can debate, they're certainly flying a lot higher than us now, but we're massively bigger than the likes of Ross County. And he wasn't really a success there. So I think that's it. And for me, that's where the goodwill goes, as we knew at the time. Don't get me wrong, I think that no winning in 9 games is a sackable offence in modern football anyway, particularly when that's 8 defeats in that period of time. But I think that there's no goodwill. I think the fans get let down big time, but folk were willing to give him a chance. But I think that the board deserves criticism for this. We all know and we're appreciative, and we talk every week of the money that Billy Bowie's put into Kilmarnock and continues today, and hemorrhaging financial holes that are existing and building a training ground. But I'm all for it. I want rid of that, so I want to go back to grass, but it'll no matter a fuck if we're sitting playing the Championship next season.
It's the modern world we live in, mate. I know this will come as a shock to some folk. You can think 2 things at the same time. You can think Billy Bowie's been a saint of this football club, and what he's done with his own hard-earned cash and fronted up and brought European football to the club twice and all that stuff. Phenomenal. What he's done, the legacy that he's given us to the club with the training ground and the pitch and all that, phenomenal, mate. There's nobody else doing it. So to me, he's earned mistakes, in my opinion. It's like a brilliant football player. If he has 35 good games, he'll lose 2 or 3 bad ones without getting bombed out of the team or getting moved on. But you can praise somebody and critique them and all, and I think evidently the balance has been lost, in my opinion, in terms of, right, that's all great, but the here and now, what are we doing here? And I think the thing that's concerning me more than anything else, mate, more than the football in the park or the leadership of the club or the manager or any specific player, is I don't like it when Killie are tone deaf like this, because I hate, mate, being treated like a customer. We're no asking for the secret sauce in McDonald's here, right? We're no customers. We're stakeholders. We're the lifeblood of the club. And again, I know folk are maybe arguing, and I'm possibly being naive. I'm no involved in football. Maybe I'm a fool, perhaps, right? I've been called a lot worse in my own house, by the way. But it's such an easy thing today for a figurehead at the football club to come out. They'll know perfectly well what the temperature's like out here, and say, this is the situation, right? We are paying for this training ground. We are laying this new pitch. We lost money with our last managerial team because we went pushed about there. So see, for the next 18 months, we're going to need to dig in here as a fan base, and this club needs your support. The new doesn't need your support when we're over in Bruges living it up in the 6% lagers. That's great. It needs it. The new, it needs it next Saturday at Hame at Falkirk when it's Christmas and you don't really want to go and we might get beat and there's honour. That we need you then. I don't understand why somebody for the football club doesn't come out and say that. I just don't get it, because to me, you go, right man, I'm digging in again then. We go again. I'm not asking for the manager. I think the manager could say it. I think the manager could and maybe should be saying that. Going, I get it. I know I'm not a dead popular appointment, but I'm working my ass off. You seen that with that red card? I don't know why he's not turned that into a positive. He's already got the suspension for acting like a spoiled brat, kicking the ball. But turn that around and go, that's how much I care. That's how much I care and how much I want to do for this football club. That pissed me off that much that I've ended up acting like an idiot, like we all do at the football, right? I don't understand why nobody's grabbing the bull by the horns and dragging us up here. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the silence. And I think I'm not asking for somebody to come out and put a timeline on how long Kettlewell's got in the job or what we're targeting, or we're only wanting to finish 10th this season. I mean, we don't need that, but there's got to be some rally and some positive communication, and I can't for the life of me understand why it doesn't happen.
It's deeply frustrating. I made the point, even though I was more along the lines of, if they have to come out and say weird budgeting and compete for 10th this season, which no business or football club in the world would come out and admit, but I called this weeks ago as well on here. I said that because we need to know where we're at. I think that early doors in the season, Kettlewell was asked about, like, before the season started, and that's when we were third after 6 games or whatever, 5 or 6 games, about European football with Kelly, and he kind of fluffed about the question a wee bit, and I was about, well, we played in Europe last year, man. It's no like, and don't get me wrong, the same way Billy Bowes brought European football twice here. Before that, we hadn't played in Europe in 18 years. But certainly should be a target the football club. It shouldn't always be out with the realms of possibility.
It should always be at least a medium term target.
Exactly.
To be one of the 5 Scottish clubs that get to Europe every 6 or 7 years.
So that to me was a bit of a warning sign immediately. But then I think you get asked about it again a few weeks later and there's a different answer, and I goes, right, that's more like it. But for me, the communication has been awful, and that's not me patting that on the media boys. It's nothing to do with them.
Far from it.
We're talking about figureheads for the club.
That need talking about leadership at the club.
That need to step out and step up to the plate and tell the fans what's going on and get us behind that. But for me, it's the age-old debate that we've been having, and it always rears its ugly head when the club isn't doing well. But it's simple for me. We've no get football folk on the board. That's not me saying that we need that. The business stuff is worked incredibly well. The turnover, the retail, what they're doing to the ground, making it, building a training ground, all that, brilliant. But for the life of me, I can't fathom why we don't have advisory folk on the board. We've got a connection to the club from before, or even that, just folk that have a history running a football club. A CEO, we don't have a CEO. I've said even before the likes of Leanne Dempster and all that, like folk like that come in that understand how top football clubs operate and communicate with the fans and can take a bit of the flack, maybe Affy, Bowie, and Phyllis and whoever else. And I think that's a key thing. But this was wrapped up again with McInnes coming on, because don't get me wrong, James Fowler wasn't. He was head of football and operations and that, and I know that he wasn't the most popular in football at that point. I don't even mean with the fans, just operations wise as well. But we completely, when my point at McInnes, just wrapped up that strategy and said, there you go, Del, you're free reign of this football club, and now look at where we're at. We need somebody on the board that or advising the board that's a football man or a football woman that understands how to operate a top level club with footballing decisions, no business decisions, because they've done top class with that. We spoke about being in Europe twice, which is a huge pat in the back because something that never existed for 18 years before that. But we could be heading for 2 relegations, and that's something that's not happened for 40 years.
Aye, so there you go. Aye, so it runs a lot deeper than the results just now, everybody. So very, very, very tough times. But at the same time, maybe the remit's been hit, mate. Maybe the remit is finished 10th and we're sitting in 10th, and if we can stay there, we just need to take the hit. Maybe that's what it is. But again, I think what's badly needed now is to fill this space of negativity, and somebody for the club, a figurehead with leadership, to come out and present positivity then, because nobody's feeling it, and it's starting to seep into our bones here, and you'll be able to tell by the messages that we've got tonight and the way the rhetoric is across the fan base. It's unpleasant. Folk are wanting to stop going to the games, which is an absolute disaster, man. Terrible fixture to be looking at to try and pick some points up away to Aberdeen on Sunday. Our record up there is horrific, so much so that people remember the wins that we've had up there over the past 30 years because they're so rare. We're not going to take a big crowd up there again, but that's no the point. The point is we are going to take a crowd up, mate. There's going to be 100 folk this close to Christmas. What we're getting on offer are still going to go. They're still going to spend £100. They're going to waste their full day going up doing it, and the chances is bringing something back down the road are slim to none. That's why somebody's got to say something, because these folk are here. These folk never, they're there and they're always there, innit? And that's why I'm like that. And I try not to get personally offended, but I don't go to Aberdeen, mate. I'm not going to Aberdeen to watch Kelly. Certainly not in that state. Honest to God, right? I'll just tell it like it is. I'm having a hard enough time getting myself to Rugby Park, believe me. But these folk go, and it's like they deserve better. They don't deserve, on the park. Every one of the guys playing's a better football player than anybody that's ever been on this podcast. Well, bit for Stephen Murray, right? But so we're not talking about that. Like, I could hammer James Brown all day if I went and go, doesn't look as good to me as he did, or I don't know why he's doing that. But at the end of the day, mate, who am I to comment on Kettlewell or James Brown or Corey and Daba or anybody, Nathan Eccleston, anybody that's played for Kelly? They're light years ahead of me. What I'm qualified to comment on is being a Kilmarnock fan, and what this experience is like now compared to what it was like a year ago, compared to what it was like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And that is where that's when I start taking it slightly personally, and I'm like, somebody gonna give us a wee nod here and go, we get it, that's a shit, but we've got to, and it's just not happening. And the longer that goes on, the more negativity will get whipped up, and the longer the results in the park slip, the worse it's going to get.
Well, it's the same cycle that exists, and it's the burying the head in the sand that the fans find that is the most frustrating, because we know that Bowie's a very modest guy, and he's not out there, and there's chairmen and owners across the country that you wish would shut the fuck up at times, man, because they're constantly in the media talking utter pish. Bowie's, that's not his type of guy, but not his personality, sorry. But as you said, we're crying out for leadership here. But what I will say is, when there is positivity there, there's definitely more quotes in the media for Bowie, Phyllis and whoever else is involved. When we published, I think the Kelly View boys have put as a question, I didn't even go back and read it, the article about our 5-year plan. I think that was off the back of us getting maybe promoted, or off the back of the record season ticket sales, which was obviously good news stories at the time. Therefore the club have went down that. I want to ken what the next 5 month plan is now. And the fact of the matter is, nobody kens where we're at, because we're desperately looking for a bit of direction and leadership to say, as you said, because folk will dig in. If they come out and own it. Because, by the way, and as Baz said last week, there's been plenty of worse Kelly teams than this. There's been a million. No, but you
don't know if I agree with that. I know what you mean. We're no cut adrift at the bottom of the league. We're spiralling though. And
that's exactly it. Because, but as Baz rightly said, it's in a position where it could get better, but it could get a hell of a lot worse as well. But this is what we need. We need a bit of communication. We need something for the fans to get behind. And to reiterate what you just said, the Hunter Hardy souls that will be heading up to Pittodrie on Sunday to more than likely see a defeat, they're the ones that need the communication more than MD.
Aye. And I just think I just want to hear a bit of honesty and passion. That's all I'm asking for, whether it's for the manager, whether it's for the general manager, whether it's for an owner, whether it's for a captain coming out, because it just feels to me like it's rhetoric, mate. It's, we're doing this, and I know, do you think we're working hard on that? It's like, no, we're in a wee bit of different space here now. This isn't we've had 3 or 4 bad results. Like, this feels like impending doom now, and I just feel like somebody's got to change the narrative, grab the bull by the horns and go, we need to dig in here for the boys now to get us through this horrible spell, and it just doesn't seem to be happening.
No, absolutely. And then just before we finish, when you're talking about even the communication for the likes of the players, there's been one guy that's been getting a lot of stick recently. Has been Robbie Dees, and I can understand that. He's admitted himself, but did you watch his post match?
Aye, he looked scunnered, man.
Aye, and again, wasn't he shirking away for anything, and that was something that was welcome. It wasn't a case of stick with us. He's like, well, the fans, they deserve better. And I've lost count of the amount of times they said no good enough, because they just kept going back to that. But again, just to give a bit of credit there, because at least that's somebody coming out in front up and no. But you can't pull the wool over MD's eyes now when you've no won in 9 games, and you've got 1 point. 2 points out of that. Apologies. I nearly done as a real disservice there. So, but I just want to say credit to DZ for owning that.
Aye, okay, mate. Right, Alan Evan messaged us, evening gents, hope you're over the disappointment from last night. We shouldn't be too quick to write it off just because it's Rangers, very poor Rangers side, one of the worst I've seen. Anyway, I'm going to avoid asking any direct Kettlewell questions, there'll be plenty. I've made my stance clear on the subject. However, to my question, what's the common link with the following games? 5th of... These are all played in the 5th or 6th of December, 2015, 2020 and 2025. Kelly 1, Dundee United 1. Kelly 0, Hamilton Accies 1. Kelly 0, Rangers 3. Apart from the common link, all of these teams are some of the worst performing Kelly sides that I have ever seen and have left me deflated on a regular basis. So in the spirit of wrestling, in the triple threat match for the most disappointing side, which is the winner? The team in 2015, Gary Locks. So that's McDonald, Ballatoni, Connolly, Finlay, O'Hara, Hamill, Slater, Smith, Obadiah, McGuinness, Boyd. The 2020 team under Dyer, Rogers, McGowan, Broadfoot, Dickamona, Honstrup, Shabola, Power, Pinnock, Brophy, Kabamba and Kilty. Or the current one, Oluwayemi, Brown, Mayo, Dees, Thompson, Polworth, Watson, Kilty, Dackers, Tiffany, Anderson. Which of these takes the crown? I'm trying to avoid recency bias, but it might be the Dyer team, even though I feel it's the most talented. Malumba couldn't get off the bench, the other two run it close. And if you've not seen it, Greg Kilty is involved in all three sides.
I didn't notice the Kilty. I noticed the two there. I didn't put together.
Kilty was on the bench for one of them.
The 15-16 one. So the big thing there is the disappointing factor, because player for player, the most disappointing must be 2021. Despite the goalkeeping situation, that was still the team more often than not 18 months ago that got European football in a highest league finish since 1966. But when you're actually getting through the quality of the player in that, despite what I just said a couple of minutes ago, I would take more players for the other teams than what I would take out the team now.
There you go. The Kelly View podcast, declining football on the pitch, fans checking out, lack of communication will feel good. I feel that the 5-year plan put out by the board is something of a worry now. Progress from the women's game, they won the cup again yesterday, so gone great guns in the cup and going to win that league. Absolutely tremendous, well done girls. It's a huge positive, and the new training ground facility is great, but we're falling short in other areas, with the fans being a big one. Do the board need to speak up now and address those issues? What do you think the Aberdeen score will be?
What, Sunday?
Aye.
Well, you know my word crap. We'll get one point. Aye,
one
exactly. That's when I really mean we're probably going to give it. I know. I don't even want to really put my name in. But again, I can just see it because obviously Aberdeen are playing in Europe on Thursday night, aren't they?
Aye.
So I can see them maybe being a bit sluggish and
probably only beating us 4-0 or something.
shake hands in for.
Aye. Right, Graham Johnston, friend at pod host now, Graham.
Excellent.
If a Rangers player broke a Kelly player's ankle in the box and Stuart Kettlewell 2-footed tackled the ref at ball height, what do you think is more likely, a penalty Rangers or our board sacking Ket?
That's one of the great age questions there.
We'll put that out to the people, mate. Captain Conker, the gorgeous squirrel, gets in touch. With Kelly getting Dundee in the draw, well, that's something to look forward to at least.
That was...
Can what the crowd will be for that game? 16. There'll just be 16 folk.
16 hardy souls, man.
With Kelly getting Dundee in the draw, do you hope to get easier games to go further in the cup or concentrate in the league?
You always... Winning games is what you want to see. And
winning breeds winning.
It does, absolutely does. Ask the 97 team that ultimately saved us for relegation in the run that we went on to go and win the cup. But that was just the grimmest draw ever.
Aye, went under the radar.
Honestly, so grim, man. First name out the hat, you're thinking, all right. And you always want to have the wee away day, but I was like, I wonder who we could get. And you're thinking, at least he's an absolute kind of second, third tier team at home.
Forfeit or something.
Dundee, right. A game that we're playing 2 weeks before that.
Horrid. Conks also asked, do people eat turkey for the rest of the year with December?
It's a weird one, isn't it?
Do you ever eat turkey?
In the early days with Dornsey was a big advocate of turkey,
the gold milk
and the gold milk that only certain folk can about, so you can't say anything about it.
How class was a stocking selection box? Crunchy. I
see a crunchy there. Crunchy's a pish, man.
Crunchy, Whisper Gold, caramel, dairy milk, a timeout, a wildlife bar, a fudge and a fuse. Some classics in there, man.
Aye, some of them are kind of predate me a wee bit.
Tam Black era, man. Should have showed him that.
I remember the Tam Black era. That'd be your favourite with the Whisper.
I love a Whisper.
But you're a Whisper man, as
I'm a Whisper man
Gold.
anyway. No, I'll take a Whisper Gold. I'd like a Whisper Mint, Dave. You remember a Whisper Mint?
Is that? Oh, right, is that?
It was a green packaging.
Oh, so it did exist. It's not a new idea.
Right. Gunnar Vance, Europe's most handsome and upset Kelly fan. I need an injection of Monty's magic positivity. Well, I'll tell you something, son. It's Christmas soon. It's a wonderful time of the year, and if you've got your friends and family around about you, and you know what, the football team will be fine. We'll figure it all out. So don't get too downbeat, mate. It's only soccer, right? We've got loads and loads to look forward to. Loads and loads to be happy about and loads to be really thankful for.
It's just 11 guys kicking the ball a bit apart.
I don't even know why are we even bothering talking about it? It's so stupid. Right. Right. We were buzzing coming home on Wednesday after Tynecastle, however that's all gone for Saturday. No Aberdeen for us this weekend.
It says a lot.
Billy Bowie should be commenting the night if Gunnar Vance isn't going, man. It's a bridge too far. At this rate, the fans are voting with their feet. We'll only need one stand open like Livy. Oh God, man. Al Snow's Plastic Heat. When we lose at the weekend and Falkirk are up 3-0 at half time the following week, are things going to be that bad that Santa's going to get booed?
that was the best thing ever, man. That is just
Santa
sensational.
on the park getting booed.
And one thing, give them credit when they won the league and he came out with it. That was funny.
Yes,
that was good.
hats off to them, man. I also got a question about Wilfred Nancy. Could you beat him at Connect 4? Graham Johnson says.
Be a tough one.
Be tough, man.
It would be a tough
Guys
one.
obviously
He's obviously thinking 3-4 steps ahead of anything that I'm doing.
You know who he wants to sign? Chris Stokes.
Stokesy, aye.
Centre half.
That's who you want to build
your team round about him, Wilfred. Christy Sykes, Aberdeen away, home for me on Sunday. Will this be right, there you go. Question, yes or no? Will this be the Goths' last game in charge of Kilmarnock?
No.
Mikey Kenmure, question of the day: is Jason Naismith a bigger wanker than Stuart Kettlewell? Did you see Jason Naismith and him having an argument on Twitter?
Bro, I actually only properly read the comments there. I saw the tweet. And then I saw that you obviously retweeted it for the pod account. Just
Sorry, Jason.
That's what it's all about, man. Draw attention.
Draw a wee bit of attention to it.
And you're just like, oh, but again, he was one for like biting back so much. Like
Mikey goes for him, man. It's funny.
And I read the comments. I fair play. And Mikey's getting a bit of kudos for some of their punters,
good.
Man, saying good on him for sticking up for the Kelly. Jason Naismith, man.
Come on. Would you take him, our kit?
We've missed the pattern. We should say Naismith.
Aye, Naismith. Go get Naismith in.
Aye,
Jason.
Aye, Jason. Aye.
Right, will our board ever take action? Will we ever win a game again? Should Kets get a loan of Wilfred Nancy's tactics board? I'm off the Ket train, guys. I'm done. Alexander Martin just asked, who is Jason Naismith?
Who is Naisy?
Aye, which one of them? Aye, he's the assistant manager. He used to play for Kelly. Went on loan. No, went and played down and trialled with Arsenal, ended up at Rangers, played with Norwich, Everton, all that. He's for Stilton. Thomas Sampson. Pittodrie is the only ground in the league my boys haven't been to, but I honestly can't face the journey this weekend if he's still in charge. I'm not the only one feeling like this. It's Kettlewell out.
Sam was shared the image as well with that, isn't he?
Aye. I don't want to show that. That's not what we're all about, man. It's just a picture of Stuart Kettlewell's face and like the kind of...
Aye, the red cross.
The red cross.
The stop sign.
Come on.
Which is always funny just when you see other clubs do it. So I think it was it Celtic that started it with Neil Lennon?
Aye.
And then
Hold on. I'm just thinking about that sticker somebody put up at Tynecastle with Polanski and all that. Dynamite, man.
Don't bomb Gaza, bomb air.
Oh God. Oh God. Unbelievable part for somebody. Right, Barbino gets in touch. Hello, mate. Assuming Ket's Sugarly Jacob Peg is about to give way, would you prefer a caretaker such as Mixu until we find the right fit, or someone from the usual Scottish merry-go-round, or a continental appointment?
Well, I made this point in the forums yesterday. The frustrating thing is that this now frustrates the rest of the managerial cycle, because the time for a project was the summer. Mm-hmm. The time to change the identity of the club and to get somebody in that could change the style of play and give them time was the summer. We didn't go down that route. We went for safe option in Stuart Kettlewell. Now we need somebody to just come in and give us a lift. And this is what I feel bad with, and I said that in the forums, because of how much the fans have turned at this moment in time, because of the burying the head in the sand and zero communication. Everyone just looks like in a downward trajectory. They know. I'm honestly not exaggerating, whereby I think that anybody that comes in is a better option than other than Mark McGee. That I said, unless the board got a point at him, that is the only thing that would get me. And that is no me for a second suggesting that some of the names mentioned are better managers than that than Stuart Kettlewell, but I just mean the situation,
for the short term gain,
because
anybody
folk
would
have
be.
checked out. So then folk, even if it's a grim appointment, folk are like, oh well, it's a change, let's see what's what. And I don't think that that's alright or how football should operate, but that is how football operates now. So that's my argument. And all part aside, I think that the Celtic route, no appointing Nonce, obviously they know, but the Martin O'Neill thing really worked in their favour, because it got the supporters off their back a wee bit.
It was quite a clever move, wasn't it?
And it helped out a bit.
It was shrewd.
But who is that man? Because Mixu seems to be the obvious one, but Mixu's a guy that he's got certain beliefs in how the game should be played. Mixu's not coming in to say, right lads, let's grind this one out. Mixu's and we don't have the players to do that. So if there is an option out there, like remember the part where Tommy McLean was getting the killer job. That's the kind of guy that you're looking for.
Right, okay, right. If you're out
Bring
there,
Bobby back for Africa, man.
There you go, Bobby Williamson. That'd be incredible. I'd be well up for that, actually. Be exciting, man.
Start it. Me and somebody. Sorry, I've got a good suggestion for who we're going to advocate for the Kelly job.
All right.
if ever it happens.
Is this the Steve Bruce thing?
Steve Bruce, man.
Steve Bruce for the Kelly job.
The Brucey Patrol, man, begins, and that's and that's got to be the option. I think that later down the line, there's so many guys in England that have got that in Scotland. The name is enough. I think they know.
Robert LeBruce.
Whereas you get folk like, again, Nancy playing Connect 4. Whereas you get Martin O'Neill come in with his trackie and gave Celtic a lift.
Aye.
I think they know that's what works. If you want to go and compete in Europe, maybe it's a different thing altogether. You bring in somebody that there's a bit of the fear factor.
Jimmy Calderwood, isn't it?
Aye,
it's the Jimmy Calderwood effect. It's what he did.
And I think that there's a lacking of Scottish managers in that now. And I know I'm rambling on here, sorry, but I think in England,
no, hurry up, man.
There's definitely probably a few names there, the guys that were potentially, somebody even said the likes of Steve McLaren and that, all worth them just to come up and do the Kelly accent, of course, is what we're looking for. But I just think that I would like us to go down a different identity like what Motherwell have done, but I don't think the now's the right time for that. We need tried and tested.
Okay. Paul McGrath gets in touch. This weekend, Kelly sank me into a deeper, dark pit of hopelessness, despair and depression that I've ever been in. But Rab Gemmell liked my Instagram story, so it swings around a bit.
She's getting on about Mr. McGrath's dad, so like that. He's the winner here.
You've had all your luck in your life, mate. Jamie, it's a bit of a is it a bit of hypocrisy from Stuart Kettlewell to behave the way he did when he was red carded, given the way he exited Motherwell? What do you think it will take for the board to step up and do the right thing? Well,
he gets sent at the stand 2 or 3 times with Motherwell as well. And I thought before Kettlewell was always one that would really like to have a go at the officials.
Scott, for a guy that's been rabbiting on about emotional intelligence, the manager didn't show any on Saturday. You know things are grim when Kettlewell's red card is the main highlight of a game. Surely the board need to make that red card permanent.
Kenmut was telling though as well, see when he got sent off, like nobody in the crowd acknowledging anything, which was quite sad. I think I seen one person clap him. Whereas before, I remember even Big Broadfoot getting sent off against somebody,
and then, get a clap, didn't they?
Right, and I was like, I think that tells you a lot, you know, and that's quite sad in a way. I did feel sorry for the
on a human level.
On a human level, because to do that and not even get the reaction of the fans being like, folk are like that. Fuck this.
Oh God, it's Tam Downey says, should you change the name for this season to Forever and Ever Bottom 6? Hard watch at the moment.
I'll take being bottom 6 next year, because it'll mean that we're in the top flight of Scottish football, man.
Scott Allison, £75 for the 80s hoop retro top. Seems steep, but it's got the Umbro logo and long sleeves. Brought it last time around during lockdown when I was 3 stone lighter. Hope Santa's reading this. Kettlewell was sucking the life out of his eye. Seen the retro top's quite smart.
Has it got the Umbro?
Umbro now,
that's a huge difference,
so
because
cool.
That did seem what was empty about the A-taps, even though they were a great replica, but the badge missing. James
McKee, have you ever seen a 6'7" wide man? Gives Dan Burn vibes at Newcastle when he's playing left back, running in the wing. Feel for Dackers, he's on a hiding to nothing playing there. The boy's confidence is shot to bits. Also, if no recall option on McCrory, another poor call. Aye, Dackers. I'm not even going to get any Dackers, man. Did Kettlewell, this is for Matt Robertson, try to pass that bottle to a player or just whiff it aimlessly up the park? So many folk continue to say they cannot see any sign of a workable structure of play under Kettlewell, and the performances under him have got worse the longer he's been working with the players. Galak gets in touch. I look forward to the late night Monday night drops the way I did watching Raw as a kid. So with that in mind, my question is, Monty, will you drop a promo in the style of Vince, Savage, Jimmy Hart or Teddy Long announcing the sacking of Skitterwell? Can even kick a water bottle. He can't even kick a water bottle properly.
There was chat about Galak in the Park Hotel after the game with a mutual friend, of course, Neil Cameron, big supporter of the podcast as well, and Diet. And did you hear about Galak's sign that he had at Killicon?
No.
And I'm not going to throw him under the bus when there.
Right.
But nothing to do with us.
Right.
But it's just funny, I'll tell you after.
Right,
that.
don't forget. John got in touch to say, don't want to talk about us, the inevitable will happen before. I never done the promo. What should I do the promo?
Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart's Macho Man Randy Savage.
Jimmy Hart.
I don't think I can do Jimmy Hart.
Mouth of the South.
The Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. I should bring my megaphone in and do it, actually.
Next week.
He's been sacked, baby. No, right. Don't want to talk about us. This is for John. Don't want to talk about us. The inevitable will happen before Christmas. Saturday night. This may be controversial, but budget accordingly, cut our cloth, and ban Old Firm fans from our ground. Bigotry, vandalism, pyro. It's nearly 2026, and they behave with impunity, doing things I could get arrested for on the home end. An 11-year-old boy was burned in the face on Saturday night by his fellow fans. I'm at the age where I'd rather just give the games a miss.
That's the part with the pyro, and I agree with that, because sometimes the spectacle looks good, but the fact of the matter is that I used like when you actually read into it, Ken folks
We've said that before, man, that it's not the right thing to be done.
I Ken folks say, oh, well, leagues do it, they actually don't, and a lot of it isn't legislate it ever there either. But I've mates that Rangers and Celtic fans that say, like, Ken we're away in Europe and like folk have had like their taps and that all burned, never mind a wee guy getting that's pish, but
no good, no very nice at all. Colin Armstrong says all the great work the club have done in recent years engaging and growing the fan base is quickly being undone by the reluctance to bin Kettlewell. The biggest challenge will be re-engaging the fans who are drifting away. Greg Halbert says if Stevie Frail pulls a miracle at his arse this weekend, Ket is suspended. I think he is because he's red card. Does the Goth deserve any credit? And for a bit of fun to lighten the mood, can you and the guests bring back the fit check? So fit check, mate.
Kinda worn Marlon Brando Godfather hoodie.
Andolini.
And exactly, I can't really move my feet, but I've got John Scott's old Puma trainers on.
Oh, great,
He
mate.
gave me them. They're quite cool. They're like multicoloured. They're like yellow, green, and white. Turquoise. I'll maybe hold them up.
Yellow. Sorry, which colours, Callum?
It's
Green, white, and yellow. Why is that? Why would you have those?
There's a lot of grey there.
Ah, aye, right, okay. You just out it yourself. Me, I've got Celtic away strip. Nah, I've just got an Managerial on, mate, in my jeans. But I'm missing my workwear.
You looked quite smart earlier.
I was very warm with my jacket on, so it got quickly
You looked
abandoned.
like you were going for a wee night out just because Tam Black was doing.
I was hoping maybe him and me go for an Indian or something after this, but he's away.
Straight back to that call.
He's away. And two last questions. Darren Steele, is he gone yet? Tam Black, he's away. And Alessandro Boscanero, who is many things but not Italian, says, why is he not gone yet?
It's never happening, man.
Right. So forget it, man. Alright, I'll need the Alan's gripe of the week. God, because he was upset.
Why, he was fuming.
I'm not upsetting him 2 weeks in a row. I know some folk don't like it, but go to Alan his place. It's Alan's gripe of the week. I'm sorry, but I've run out of time for this manager. We can't simply go along with him. Hopefully by the time this gets read out, he'll be gone. My old late granny could do a better job. She liked Queen of the South. I said by Christmas, well, it's 3 weeks away. Bye. I'm lost for words this week. Would you believe it? Honestly, Mickey Mouse could do a better job. What about Mickey Mellon?
Was he United?
Dundee United.
He was at United, wasn't he? And his boy signed for United. I don't know if I'm right in saying. He had a good pedigree beforehand.
His
but
boy,
in the kind of lower leagues.
his boy Water.
He had a decent pedigree in the lower leagues England before that.
Well, that's what you were just advocating for.
Aye, but we're a bit merry on him. I'm even talking.
Cubbishly.
I'm even. He's maybe a bit too gone, but I'm even putting mad names out there like managing the National League. You know, Mark Hughes and all that.
Aye, get Hughesy up here,
Big
man.
personality, man.
Aye.
Steve
Robbie Savage.
He's not managed anything, man.
He's a manager of Macclesfield, isn't
Is he?
he? Aye. Get promoted with Forest Green and all that. Aye.
Is he?
Aye.
Shows how much I can.
Do your research, man.
Just don't like him, man.
Get Robbie Savage up here.
Don't like
He come on the pod.
At least they would front up to the old firm.
Hey,
We could talk to him about Neil Whitworth and Colin McKee.
Aye, that's it. Class of 92 and all that, wasn't it? Man? Right, okay. So that's about us. We need to go home. We need to go on with our lives. I hope everybody's enjoying the festive
You
season.
sound like Sani there.
Did I?
Aye, Ken when he goes.
I want to get home. I need to get home. I want to go to Silverburn to that hotel chocolate. Right. Anyway, listen. Go. Just get behind it. Whatever, man. Seriously, I don't know. Right. Anyway, KTID, innit?
Kelly till we die.
We'll see what happens. And aye. Happy Christmas. See you next week.